By preparing the live stream. It's done deal. There we go. Okay, there we go. We are live. Okay. I'm actually waiting for Rod to come in. In the meantime, we are live. And give me a second. I think I'm gonna. Okay. Okay. Can you guys hear me? I'm actually waiting for. Can you still hear me? To no. Come in. In the meantime, let's see. We are live. And give me a second. I think I'm gonna. Okay. I'm just hearing some backlash, so give me a second here. To come in the meantime. Let me see. Give me a second. I think I'm. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Prism Blue,
Can you hear me?
if you don't mind,
just say yes.
Out for us, please.
Yes, Mama, we hear you.
Okay, so you can't hear me.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I was asking if Prism Blue Horse.
Just say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Helena, can
Yes.
you hear me?
I can hear you.
Shake your head yes if you can hear me. Okay, great. Here comes Rod. John, can you hear me in there? All right then, perfect. Now, I just want to welcome everybody tonight. I'd like to say hi, TikTok. I haven't seen you probably in about 2 weeks. Mama Rarebird been getting some rest, much needed rest, and only doing the things that are necessary for me to get done. But otherwise, I've been taking some time to get myself. I've been running ever since the coordination, so um, I'm sitting down a minute, but I'm still working, but just not traveling right now. So that's a good thing. Um, I was supposed to did the notice last night at 8 o'clock, but my energy was not very good. So I postponed it until tonight at 8 o'clock. And so I want to bring Rod on. Hi, Rod. How are you? You have to unmute.
Hey,
Don't be smiling, looking like my son.
how the family
Look
doing
at him
today?
smiling. Okay, so for some reason, let me see if I can turn my volume up because I can't hear anybody. And that's just because I'm trying to figure out why am I getting feedback.
Can you hear me, Empress?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, because I'm hearing the feedback too.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how we can not have the feedback. So give me a minute and let me go to another screen.
Mama Empress, you may need to mute out your YouTube and your TikTok and only go by the volume of the Zoom call.
Okay, so let me go there then, wherever I am. I'm not sure. That's the only thing that I'm having issues with. Like, I don't have any feedback anymore, but you guys are getting feedback, right?
You sound good right
You
now.
sound better now.
I sound
Yeah,
better now?
yeah, I do
Uh,
too. I don't hear no feedback no more.
okay, we're perfect then. We're good to go then. How about that? Whatever happened, it happened like it's supposed to. Thank you, Miss Mama Tanika. Yeah, thank you for saying the kind words. So I want to bring Rod on to speak with you all about what we're getting ready to read and why we're getting ready to read what we're getting ready to do. So Rod, if you would just come in and give folks the what, when, and why.
Okay, so we're gonna go over a couple things to help y'all see this clearly what's taking place in real time. We're gonna go back to short-term memory. We're gonna start before Tallahassee when the Empress read in public domain her claim of right for all indigenous clans across the land to be caretakers of the land and to recover the lordal titles that puts us back in our rightful position as owners of the land, caretakers of the land, and it put us back in our what we call in law our de jure status. We was operating under a de facto corporation that was pretending to be the government. So she had to read into the public record her statement of claim and show that they had surrendered to her the allodial title that was being held by the Rothschilds. Once she done that, we had a series of stellar events that came with announcements attached to them, which was the Great Muhurta that was leading up to her coronation as the Empress. In order for us to finish the process, we got these steps that we had to take. This is called the redemption process. When she read into the public domain her claim of right, that's to pretender to the throne, a certain jurisdictional right to reclaim the throne on the land. So the next thing after the Muhurta that happens, we went to Tallahassee and we made public announcement in public domain according to the oral tradition of the collective cleanse of the land. At Empress was undisputed by all who was present at her coronation in her position as the caretaker of the land by birthright, by inheritance, by blood right, and by the rights of the natural laws of nature to enforce the mother's right to reclaim the land for the protection of the children for the following 7 generations to come. Now that she get coronated, you see her go to Philadelphia, and you see her and Chief Alma, and who else was that up there with you, Empress? Copper Alma? Okay, so they were with the Empress in Philadelphia when she sat back in the tribal, original,
I'm, I was
matriarchal.
I was I was muted. My apology. It was Helena, which is Chief Armor, Copper Armor, Lady Dancing Sun, um, uh, Carbon Star, which is
No, I'm talking about just when you took the seat at
oh yeah, it was
the
Lady Dance.
matriarchal seat.
Okay, yes, it
It was
was
two of
Lady.
them standing in front of you.
Okay, that was Lady Dancing Sun and Carbon Star, which is Vinay.
Okay. So when she sat into that jurisdictional seat of authority, she claimed back Big Mama's seat to administer the legal affairs across the land. To also she exercised Big Mama's right to restructure the political format across the land. This requires her now, at the point we at now, once that was complete, simultaneous with that, while she was systematically reclaiming the land, there was another elder mother who was channeling the curse that was put over Philadelphia so that we can know that the ancestors are supporting us and hearing us. She recited the same curse that was recited that ran them out of Philadelphia when they established Washington, D.C. In order to get out of it, we had to reverse the steps of the settlers, which I also miss Delaware. The reason why Delaware was important because it was the first state established under the jurisdictional authority of the de facto corporation that masqueraded as our government. We at the part now where the banks have been seized by Big Mama. The Federal Reserve is up for cancellation by the corporate fiction that's in recognition of her exercise of her right to establish the currency by weights and by measures and by the minting and coining of money. Money being the medium of exchange for the energy that you utilize for any function. This medium of exchange is required by Big Mama to be done in what's called a tangible emolument. In other words, a promise is not sufficient to compensate you for your efforts. Now, when people compensate you, they have to compensate you by your effort in gold or silver coinage in order to balance out an equal and equitable exchange between all who do business as humans on the planet Earth. This is decommissioning all central banks around the world. This is decommissioning all legal fictions that masqueraded as political governments of the people who was working in the interest of the same bankers who was holding us in reprisal for the debt that they created in our names. The seizure of the Federal Reserve, the national debt, now becomes the national debit to be used by the people of the land to rebuild the infrastructure because the political establishment that we are now canceling, establishment failed to maintain the proper infrastructure to keep us up with the progression of humanity on the planet. Operating in fraud, using admiralty jurisdiction and maritime law, usurping the common law and the great law. No tribe will honor any law any further that's not the great law. All of the mothers, tribal mothers, are now being called by the empress to solidify the power of the matriarchy across the land without the distinction of people. No big eyes, no little U's. We don't want to negotiate or discuss your tribal doctrine. We only want your tribal elder mother to reach out to the empress. This is what this reading is about. The people reclaiming their right by the path that the ancestors laid out called the redemption process or the right of redemption of the collective clans. All clans must work together and we will sort out in academia among our elders who teach the information that we need to know what's been taking place on the land and what we must do to move in future. So this is the part now where all of the clan mothers are coming together so that the resources can be allocated equitably across the land. And all eligible clan mothers are the ones who's already performing work in the community as a clan mother, walking the land with all of the rights being restored to the clan mothers up on their collective meetings in courtesy and in grace as mothers on the land. Once a significant of these matriarchal mothers are met cordially, right? This is like just meeting somebody just to say, hi, how you doing? I recognize you, you recognize me. and people together. That's all it means. It don't mean that you not who you say you are. It don't mean that this clan is more important than that clan and this man is more important than that man. What it means is mama said it's time to take this shit home. And Empress is here to enforce the will of Prime Creator and Mother Earth. And with that, I yield and pass it back to Empress.
Thank you. Before I share my screen of what we're reading tonight for the public notice, I just want to say that we do have the Clan Mother Committee now in place, and after the reading, I will be coming back to introduce you all to the Clan Mother Committee. They are going. I'll be telling you what they're charged to do on behalf of the foundation and what their where they are, their phone number, how you can get in touch with them, and an email address that's been established, both a phone number and an email that has been established for the clan mothers. And so I'll be back to speak more about them, and they will be able to introduce themselves to you so that everybody now will know who is helping with this coordinating our clan mother seats and where we're going to be located and all of that. So just sit back and relax, and we'll be back with the committee shortly to formally introduce them to the world. All right. Love and light, everybody. Okay. So this is in a form of a public notice. And my I want to, first of all, I don't know if you guys can probably hear it. I don't know what goes on with these computers, but I am going to acknowledge the ancestors first. So give me a minute. Let me get that done. First of all, let me stop sharing my screen. So I want to acknowledge our ancestors, and I don't know if you guys can hear it on the Zoom, but I'm still going to do it. It's my gavel. I'm gonna hit it 3 times to signify that we're getting ready to read the public notice. That means that the matriarch is in session now by the hitting of the gavel, the peace pipe, 3 times. Matriarch is in session. And I'm going to stand. Okay. So this is a public notice to all clan mothers, some named, some not named, to join in unity as we, the clan mothers, exercise our matriarchal rights to bring the clan mothers close together across the land. Let all clan mothers join together and active the latent powers of the clan mother's right to restore and rebalance the clan mothers across the land according to the oral and get it to move. There we go.
That should have been activating Empress. It say active. It should have been activating the matriarchal right.
Okay.
So if you go back
Where
up,
you were you talking about, Rod?
you see where it said
Yes,
let's call our clan mothers to
yes,
join together. It's supposed to
yes.
be activate the latent powers of the clan mothers.
Okay,
Right.
so let's just fix that. All right. All right, so we'll start again. Right there. Let all clan mothers join together and activate the latent powers of the clan mother's right to restore and rebalance the clan mothers across the land according to the oral tradition. By acknowledgement of one another in the public domain, I, Empress Chakra Rarebird Nigrant, having been born with universal banking codes as part of my DNA, acknowledge each clan mother and her sovereign right to manage the resources of the land in service of our clans, extending to all clan mothers an open channel of unity and love as we require to heal the poisoned land, heal the people, heal the water, heal the air with the fiery passion of divine love and the unconditional spirit of truth and acceptance, and set our path on a prosperity, prosperity, excuse me,
Prosperous.
prosperous path for the next 7 generations, our clans with no big I's and no little U's. It is only by the wisdom and love of us as clan mothers will the people realize the promise of a better day and beautiful future for all children to become the adults that only live their best lives by being properly nourished by the unknown nutrient called mother's love. We have lived through and overcome the struggles of days gone by to emerge at this time with the healing codes in our entire being to restore the pride and dignity of all. As a tribal leader and clan mother, having been given the birthright and sovereign authority to call the clan mothers to come together to reclaim what we have inherited by Prime Creator, and the Great Mother Earth is materialized to restore the pride and dignity of all. As a tribal leader and clan mother, having been given the birthright and sovereign authority to call the clan mothers to come together to reclaim what we have inherited by Prime Creator, and the Great Mother Earth is materialized in the oral tradition in open public as notification of other clan mothers that we have successfully laid righteous claim to our earth inheritance, which is the inheritance of earth, and have followed all the righteous steps to serve evictions on all false systems across the land and
Constitution.
reconstitution of government process as laid out by our ancestors. Let this public notice serve to link the clan mothers in cordial communication and full awareness that this is the mother's right to assert our rights collectively to bring to bear on all false systems that have been abusing its authority and integrity as servants of the people to hereby be dissolved
Yeah.
in all the following areas of people activity, economics, entertainment, education, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health. Our unity is all that is required to properly assert our position as clan mothers. May this notice also serve to uniform our people, to inform our people and inspire them to lay aside any systems or belief that may serve as a hindrance to our matriarchal position, and instead inspire them to direct to their respective clan mothers to join in and aid the matriarchal return. There is much work ahead of us. All we have proven by our presence, the laws of the universe and natural laws support us in the great work, and that we are naturally endowed with the abilities, intelligence, and willingness to do what is necessary to take on this great task. We are the mothers of tomorrow and the daughters of yesterday, the sisters of today that must unite. Know that the major works have been done. Chiefs have been identified and appointed to positions. What remains is an open and public marching of the matriarchs to allow the great elephant matriarch raise her trump and proclaim freedom for all from the tyranny of the past, thus systematically shattering those generational curses of past ignorance, and allow us to once again turn on the divine light in every man, woman, and child of the mother's love as we love them all back into the circle. I, Empress Chakra Werebird Nigrant, extend special invitation to the following clan mothers to contact me directly, either personally or by qualified representative, in accordance with our tribe's structure and protocols. Chief Mashupi, Mama
Mashpee.
Bear, Mashby.
Yeah, Chief Mashpee, Mama Bear.
Okay, Chief Mashby, Mother Bear, Chief Warhorse, Sister Louisa,
Louisa, Thais,
Taish, Professor Bayan
Ayano Bello,
Bello, Mother Khadija Farrakhan, Chief Janice, Miss Dean, the governess, Sister
Flora Burns,
Florburn, Dr. Kia Pruitt, Mother Winnie Hoover, Sister Amina Ford, Sister Myra Mouse, Sister Vicky Dillard, Dr. Suzar. This is a beginning of acknowledgement of clan mothers, but in no ways bar other unnamed clan mothers from making contact. This public notice is global in scope and galactic in impact, an open invitation to all matriarchal clan mothers. All matriarchal clan mothers. This has been a public notice to all clan mothers to join in unity, having no respecter for persons, and generating an atmosphere of unity, love, and remembrance. We will no longer surrender tribal government to a fictitious government when we have all that is required to administer and oversee our own estate and secure a promising and loving future. Be being ourselves and coming unto our own to perform our duties and tend to our clan mothers. In conclusion, let our clan mothers love, serve as our guiding light. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe.
It is so. And so it is. And so it is ordered.
So now I got to go over the legal mumbo jumbo, Empress.
All right.
So this has been a public notice in archivable format, valid in any court in the known universe. Being time-stamped and dated, this notice has been issued by a Dejure sovereign in her sovereign capacity with the right as a tribal mother of the land to call the other tribal mothers to unity, to solidify the power of the matriarchy and to restore the power back to the people by putting the people back in charge of their own destiny. This has been a legal notice to all clan mothers directly from the clan mother in charge of performing the function by nature and by prime creator to call the clan mothers together at this given time. All of the other formalities will be worked out once the clan mothers have reached critical mass of unity and cordial connection without any concerns for the differences between tribal doctrines, religious persuasions, or any of the dividing and conquering mechanisms that the enemies have used to keep all of the people subjugated and under the false jurisdiction of a de facto corporation that masqueraded as the government. Be aware that Raven Rock, Colorado's continuity of government has a layout of the rollout for the matriarchal government. They will be rolling that out and it will be being announced sometime during the presidential campaign. So keep your eyes open. This has been the public notice. Okay, Empress, where we go from here? Show call.
Okay. All right. So as you learned in the public notice, for those who do not know, and those who know, please be patient. I came and coordinated on this earth with the banking redemption codes. And those codes are being has already been activated for the quantum financial system already. And we are just moments and week away from these things materializing. As you know, the Federal Reserve System, as of I think it was May the 16th, Rod, that has been asked to be dissolved, and the board of governors to step down so that this quantum financial system can be rolled out. Anything that I have and folks have they taken or got a copy of, I guess you found out that don't work over there in that system. That's why I wasn't worried too much about folks trying to take a copy of my stuff and try to monetize it through that system, because it won't work over there. As you know, I hold the allodial title to all of Turtle Island as of February the 22nd, February the 20th of this year. The rest of the lands were entrusted in this trust so that it can be distributed for the good of the clan mothers, both in North and South America, including Canada and all the other islanders as well. So we do have a lot of work to get done. So we also have, while I was in Philadelphia, the ladies that you all see, and they will be introducing themselves and giving us an update as to where they are. They've been appointed to help with certain tasks that need to be done in order for the clan mothers to come and take their rightful seat so that we can get to work. So they were appointed by spirit, not by Empress, but by spirit, that they were where they supposed to be in, so that I could bestow upon them their duties as the Clan Mothers Committee. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Copper Armor, our chair, that will introduce the rest of the clan mothers in their role or their positions within the clan mothers. She's going to give you guys all the information. She's going to show you some of what we're looking at as far as setting up the clan mothers government. And I'm very proud of this committee. They're working hard. They hit the floor running. And so I'm very proud of them. So I will turn it over to the chair, Copper Armor. Please help me welcome her.
Greetings, everyone. Love and light.
Love and light.
Everyone looks so beautiful. Hello, ladies. We had our first meeting today. This morning at 10 a.m. was our first matriarchal meeting that we had. So all of this is right on time and it's joyous for us. We're excited about this new gift we've been given to bring on the rest of the matriarchs that are interested in coming in with us and following our lead on the way we like to move in love. So Empress had put this together the day before or on Mother's Day in Philadelphia. We all got together. We formed this clan of mothers here that you see. It's I and Chief Ama that are the head chairs of the group. And Erica Eagle Firewater is our secretary. And
Hi.
she has some slides to share with you all and let you know how we'll be operating, and that way you ladies will know what we have going so far with our first meet this morning. And I'll pass it over to you, Miss Erica.
Thank you so much, Copper Amma, and also Chief Amma as well. Can everyone see my slides okay?
Yes, we can.
All right, and can everyone hear okay?
Yes, we can.
All
Can you
right.
guys hear okay on TikTok? If you can put your thumbs up for me. Okay, yes, they can.
All right. So as Copper Amma stated, we were established on May 12th, 2024 as the Clan Mothers Committee. And here you can take a look at the committee matriarchs as well as the committee matriarch chair. We have been working, like Copper said, that we are meeting. We had our first meeting today, and the next slide would just go over how what our purpose is, and when we meet, what we are meeting, what our meetings are focused on. So our purpose is to gather clan mothers together to become organized to secure tribal abode, teach each clan mother their worth, and do the same and spread the love. That is our purpose of existing. We meet every seventh Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Committee meet for the purpose to heal mothers from informant identity and to solve reign. Our mission is tribal love-minded mothers that create a blueprint of solve reign solutions. And our goal is to secure a solid location for the people of the Shalaji Cherokee Nation Pure Trust Foundation. Variety of topics for mothers to stand in their square within their own tribal clans so that all of us can be able to do the same. How to contact us. As we said before, you can reach us at this email, clanmothercommittee@proton.me. And we also have the 188 number, 487-5559, extension 5. You can call and leave messages as well. If you are emailing, just in the subject line, and you're interested in becoming a new participant or part of the class, in the subject line, make sure to indicate that. Immediate response calls or emails will be replied within 72 hours. So you may also leave a message. And I will pass it back over to Empress River.
Okay, I'll go back to pass it back to Copper Armor for any additional information, and then we'll introduce, if you would introduce each one of the committee members as their positions, and then whatever else you want to. I told y'all this y'all show, and that, Empresses help y'all put it together and help you kind of frame it. But this is the clan mothers. It's not me. It's everybody. So please.
Absolutely, yes. So as you can see from our slides, that's what we're set out to do, is to get our mothers to come out of that informant and go into a solve reign. So we're trying to come up with solutions that will solve our issues that we have, and reign as a sovereign. Because we are, the clan mothers being the matriarchs and the mothers that bring forth all people in the world. And that's the reason why we are come to call all the mothers because the mothers is the ones that take care of their youth. And no matter what youth it is, we always come together to do that. And we need to come back together on the same mind frame and get these things done. The committee matriarch chairs is I'm Copper Ama, and Chief Ama, she's the head chair, and Eagle Firewater that read out the slides to you all is our secretary chair. And our committee, we have Miss Pamela Nevels.
If
And
she could stop sharing the screen so that we can see them, that would be great.
that's fine.
Okay.
And then we have Miss Patalo. We have Wild Dragon Fire. We have Miss Frida. And we have Miss Carolyn Watson. Yes. Miss Trinity. She's our youngest matriarch in the committee. We love Miss Trinity. That's our baby. We also have Miss Margaret, Miss Lula Bear, and we have Isis Blue, and Miss Katrina, and Miss Prism Blue Horse. She couldn't be on screen today, but she is listening in. And that is your matriarchal mother committee chair. And we are excited to hear from you all. We just shared the email, and the email again is clanmothercommittee@proton.me. And just send us an email and we will get you added to our list. We did have a lot of people sign our matriarch book from Tallahassee and also in Delaware and in Pennsylvania. So we have a lot of people to add already that's excited to join the clan mothers to add to our roster. So we're looking forward to all the mothers to come together and come to get back together in a sisterhood and a motherhood, in love and truth, and, coming back to loving our clans, getting our clans together, standing in our own square, going back to feeding our own, youth, building our farms, and going back to loving the earth and loving one another. And we can see a big difference in the frequencies that we put out on this earth. We have that magic inside of us. I'm pretty sure all of y'all know that we can manifest. So let's do this manifestation, matriarchal, mitochondrial way, like we do. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I land.
All right. Well, I guess I need to take off now. I'm going to acknowledge you, Rod, in 1 second. I want to also additionally add that I will, Copper Armor and myself, let me show you guys the book. This book right here, traveled to Tallahassee with me, and so and it went to Delaware with me, and it went to Philadelphia with me. And in this book, we've got all the names of the people, the women who signed this book that I'm going to be meeting with Copper Armor to get the names and the email addresses and phone numbers out of this book and transfer it over to the committee as soon as possible. We were initially, she were talking about July when we have the graduation, but I told her we can't wait that long to add the women in that book. So we're going to try to coordinate some time and space before then to get that done. So just bear with us. We are narrowing down a time and space to do that. Whether I'm going to travel to her or whether she's going to travel to me, it's got to be done. So just wanted to touch on that. The other task that they're doing now is they're finding a location so that we can set up our clan mothers seats. And the idea is to not only find a location that will be able to, at least temporarily until we get our infrastructure built. We have been approved for the funding. I've been waiting for to submit the business proposal, which I will show you what that is. I can share that with you guys. So if you guys give me a moment. They always say I show too much on my screen when I doing things. So y'all give me a minute and let me pull that up. So this week they did find a few places that we looked at, and we're keeping in mind that we want to have a place that has lodging for our women to travel, meeting rooms, and places that other people can come besides that. And so while I'm looking that up for a minute, looking this proposal up, I'm going to let Rod go ahead and have his say. So Rod.
Okay, Empress. How do I put my hand down?
I'll take it down for you.
Okay. First thing is, was not my instructions to prepare a feast in the presence of your enemies and have them looking one way while we working on another way, right? You don't have to worry about a place. If you go to my Facebook page and you scroll down, you will begin to see that your son been working, and I've been putting in the public domain the buildings that the matriarchs are claiming across the land to perform clan mothers functions. Y'all gonna have y'all choice of which castle, because we have to get our castles back. Which castle do y'all want to go at? What you need to be doing, instead of looking for a place, looking for the teams that's gonna serve the food and serve the clan mothers while they perform their business.
Okay. We can do that.
We done already did the heavy lifting. You
Okay.
and the other clan mothers, only thing y'all have is to cordially meet. That's it.
Okay.
Y'all, by y'all meeting each other, y'all securing y'all power structure and enforceable authority on the land,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I've been picking the places that y'all need for y'all work, because that was part of what you told me to do before
Yeah.
we took on this flesh suit. Prepare a feast in the presence of my enemies, son. And while you preparing the feast, they won't even know what you're doing in their face in real time. The
Okay.
clan mothers that we calling are all doing their work already. That means that a sizable portion of structural footwork has been performed on the behalf of the matriarch before we ever knew it. All women's group, whether it's Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Mothers Against Domestic Violence. They mother groups already structured to carry out political functions because they've been pushing lobbyists to pass bills. So they know the function of lawmaking government already. Everything is prepared in the presence of your enemy with no respect as a person, giving each man what he earned by his works and his deeds according to what's fair. All of the sisters have to do now is to recognize each other as other clan mothers across the land. Y'all did the work. That's how we got this far. People watching this, but they don't know that this is a whole hostile takeover of the outlaw tribes that never made treaties with the enemy to reclaim the land by following the redemption process. And in the process, anything that's I post on there as far as housing is seized on the behalf of the matriarch, whether they want it to be or not. Because y'all have first right to administer where these massive estates go anyway. So if y'all need one for the services of the matriarch, y'all just pick the one y'all feel like staying in.
Okay.
So you don't have to bust no brain cells on that. All y'all got to do is meet in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Y'all don't got to do nothing else now. The work done.
Okay. All right.
The other
Well,
thing, when she was reading the statement, a lot of people don't know what it means from transferring from informant to sovereign. It's a difference in a snitch and an informant. An informant recognized the fact that they working for law enforcement and their sole purpose is to put somebody in law enforcement's custody, right? When they classify the mother as an informant on the birth certificate, they telling you that you literally selling a third of your child to the state. You surrendering 1/3 of your parental jurisdictional authority to an entity that don't care nothing about your child. When you in your sovereign capacity, the clan mothers got the sovereign right to lock everything down for the protection of the children throughout all humanity. In your sovereign position. But as your informant position, you can't exercise sovereign power because that's the imbecile position in law. Because you don't know you're giving somebody else jurisdiction over your estate. So you become a willful informant to surrender your child to the state to be used in any form they see fit. That's why they can take our sons as juveniles and lock them up. They couldn't do that under tribal law. The tribal elders had to form a meeting to find out why is this child acting this way. Because if you find out why he acting this way, we know how to heal him. That's matriarchal nurturing of each child being looked after. That's what we missing. We missing the sisterhood, where the sisters come together to heal and to help each other solve problems, to balance out the relationships of all of the sisters across the land, which is going to heal all of the families. It's the mother's love that we missing in other parts of society because the patriarchy tried to use testosterone brute force to subjugate. So no longer will the mother surrender their child to the state, but they take sovereign control over the well-being of their child as they nurturer, protector, and bearer.
mm-hmm.
So that's what that was making reference to in that document, why you wanted to go from informant to sovereign, right? So I yield, Empress.
I'm coming right back. I just needed to cut something off. Okay. Thank you for the the clarity. So, being that it's already done, all we have to do is pick the place. Do you have a list of, can you email that to the committee and CC me those places that we can choose from, Rod? You have to unmute.
When y'all get done, meeting and greeting, they're gonna be giving y'all all of this information when they roll out the package of what the other chiefs been doing behind the scenes.
Okay. So I want to say thank you. Ooh, 'cause we prepared to work now.
Well, I was just told to make it as easy as possible for you. All you had to do is walk your path and you would be on your throne. Right? Because only by the rightful heirs being in the right place can a righteous reward be rendered to a righteous people in the name of righteousness. So we exercised the blood right of the natural people of the land to recover the land. We went through the Jubilee year. We went through the open declaration to reclaim the land and cancel all treaties for fraud and non-performance because they never honored the treaty. We went through that. We went through the battle with corporate America where they wanted the corporations to run the land and they lost. Checkmate in 11 moves, right? So every step of the way that they thought they had you beat, I stepped on their face. They done. The only thing left is for y'all to breathe and just say, sister, I'm over here. I just need to know what you need over there. And we gonna meet up. Just let the time flow. Everything just gonna roll out like it was already prepared because it's already prepared.
Okay, so we need we need the committee. We need to call
Right. So
a global meeting of the clan mothers.
it's your call is open for all clan mothers around the world.
Right.
And they're gonna be coming as dignitaries all 2025 during the great Mardi Gras celebration of the people of the land and the victory over the enemy that had us held in reprisal for a debt we didn't know.
Good God
So
Almighty.
during that celebration, y'all gonna be meeting different clan mothers from around the world. Right now, you have to solidify your power among the clan mothers by connecting as many clan mothers together on the same frequency of love and redemption for the people. Once y'all do this as clan mothers, y'all not gonna have to do all this work you trying to do.
Okay.
It's already done. You just in work mode because of what you've been through to build up to where you was worthy to be the clan mother that called all the clan mothers together. Because they think that we just felt like one day we get up and say that no, we had to go through a whole process of self-development first. Then we had to go through a redemption process where we dealt with our shadow work. That wasn't easy. Then we had to go out and try to teach as many people as we can in the presence of the enemy while he don't even see that we breaking the curse that was put on their minds. So while I'm doing this, they had to feed you the hard receipt because we operate in the oral tradition, but they the ones who wrote up the alloidial titles. We didn't write them up. They used that as they occupational charter to occupy the territory. So when we claim it back, they have to surrender it to the rightful heir that's calling for it. You was the big mama that sent me out to go get it. So I had to follow the steps from what I'm reading on the Wind Talker channel from the ancestors to be rightfully guided because we loaded with misinformation in all academia because they was the ones or tasked with making us believe we not from the land, so we never come to the rightful mindset to reclaim the land. Well, Mom told me to fix it, so I'm just fixing it. I'm not out here, I'm not chasing no money. I'm not chasing no tail. I'm chasing mama's stuff, put it back and get your hands off because you ain't had no business touching it in the first place. So the more the clan mothers understand that we don't care if you from one tribe or the other, we have to work together whether we want to or not. If we want what's rightfully ours by blood and by right and by rightful inheritance to the land. By you
And its
doing this,
resources.
yeah, and by you doing this and making that book, this is for the future generations to trace back to this point in time, which one of the elders was involved in taking over from the devil himself, the occupation of our land, and restoring it back to our clan mothers. They'll be able to trace back that Aunt Lucille was living at that time because she was my favorite Aunt Lucille anyway, right? Now they have a promising reflection of what we've been through and how we overcame, as opposed to what we've been through and oh me, oh my, I can't overcome this. We can overcome anything. We resilient, resourceful, and we gonna always find a way to win. Soon as Big Mama turn one of these boys loose, he gonna do his part till his part can't be done no more. I'm just doing my part. They don't know what I'm doing, but I know exactly what I'm doing. All them people that call themselves brothers in them secret societies know what I'm doing, and their mouth is on the floor because they can't believe what they seeing. Mama sent her boy to go get her shit back. So I said, yes, ma'am. I'm gonna go get it. All the receipts is there. I got all of the receipts for the whole process from A to Z.
Did you
It's
talk
been
to
5
them
years.
about the seat in Philadelphia and what that
Yeah,
represented? Because I haven't been
we went over that in the
I have
opening.
not spoke about that since I've been back. So I think this would be a great time to speak about it. I haven't uploaded it, that part on the on anywhere yet. I just been recuperating. So if you would please.
Well, we went over that in the opening, what it would mean when I was actually who was sitting in front of you,
Yeah.
right, in the 2 seats. So we went over that in the opening. But they do know that that's claiming the highest political seat on the land by you sitting there. And by you having the blood and the right, once you sat down, it was over. Big Mama home, she back on her seat.
And I did have to, even though I said it was Monday, I like you said, doing stuff right in front of their face when they was expecting me to do it Monday, I did it that Saturday.
So the sister Chief Amma said the elder mother name was Rosalind Bonaparte that
Yeah.
was channeling the curse that was put over Philadelphia. Remember, I told you before y'all went that it was the elders put a curse on Philadelphia and that's why they left.
Yeah.
Well, somebody got a video of her. She's channeling the curse because the only way to break it is to have it repeated while you perform the action of reclaiming the seat. So she in one part doing one thing from the spirit realm, solving the problem. Philly finna be prosperous. Because all of that negative war energy and raging ancestors that didn't want prosperity to go so much in Philly because of the dirt that was did there is now lifted. Soon as you sat in that seat, Philly
It
got
felt
blessings coming.
good too, y'all. It felt good. It felt good, 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 good. I felt good sitting in my seat. And when they tried to come and the man, you can't sit down. He said, you gotta get down. So just give me a minute. You know, everybody's ready to fight. I said, I need for everybody to recognize that you ain't gotta fight. Just what did I do? I didn't flinch. I didn't do no rubbernecking. I said, well, give me 1 minute. Take the picture. Ma'am, you gotta get down. I know. You're not supposed to. I know. Just give me 1 minute. That's what I kept saying. I'll come down just 1 second. Cause I
So
wanted
when
them to get the picture of the proof that I sat in that seat to set the record straight, that I sat in the seat. By the time they called whoever came, I even calmed them down. You know, don't retaliate, because they like a good fight. They don't know what to do when you ain't fighting them and you being calm, and that's what it was. That nobody put me in no handcuffs. They wanted to know what just happened. What just happened
so
was I just sat in my seat.
so I want to speak to that, Empress.
All right.
As you step into your power,
Yes.
that the little flailing around he was doing to keep you from sitting down, that was just to make sure you knew who you was. It had nothing to do with him. He was just a vessel being used to prove who you was. Because when Big Mama tell him, I'm finna sit on my seat, he can act like he want to stop you, but he can't stop you because it's your seat. So you seize the seat back that give you the birthright activation to draw the clan mothers together now. Y'all can come together, and if you decide, well, if y'all don't want me to be the chairman of the board, we can vote. Among us as clan mothers, we can put whoever we want on the seat. That's your choice.
Yeah.
But when y'all tell us men to fix the problem, we can't be bitching and crying because it's hard. It's supposed to be hard, and that's why they sent your man to do it. It's supposed to be hard. Everybody can't do hard work, but hard spiritual work, that's a whole nother level it can't do. Especially under what the brainwashing we was under with religion. The spiritual work right now, that's a woo. But now that it's been done and all of the dots been connected, you sat on the seat. The Pope couldn't sit there, but you could. Symbolically, that's the symbolic Big Mama seat that the Pope sit under. That big ass seat in the Vatican. But the real seat is over here. You don't want the replica. There's nothing like the real thing, baby.
Okay.
Ain't nothing like the real thing. You wanted the real seat of power. That if you have a particular blood right to call the clan mothers together, when you sit there, now they just got to sit there with their lip poked out because they couldn't stop you. They didn't have the spiritual hierarchy to stop you. All they could do is bark like little lap dogs because that's all they serving.
Well, I tell you,
And
they
you
was
just shoo them
barking,
on the way.
but all them folks that was up in there, they did a like a protection. Like, I wish you would. That they was
And
ready, they was ready to mob that man. And
they
I was
sure
like,
wanted him to F around and find out because they was gonna show him.
they were gonna show
But
him. I
but
swear they was.
Big Mama say lead with love, but master the throat punch.
Yeah, that they was gonna put their hands on him. He had came right there and tried to put his hand on me. And he didn't look, they told him, move out the way so we can take the pictures. He moved out the way.
He had no choice because you exercising your birthright.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, as these clan mothers begin to link, y'all are establishing. Because in the matriarchy, the rule is that whoever can fill the position is responsible to hold the function, without respect of who they is. If they got the skill to hold the position, their job is to hold that position and to see that somebody but can hold it better come along or till they train a replacement. right?
And that's the desire, because Empress can't wear all the hats. It has to be, everything has to now sort of be, dispersed correctly. And until those folks are found to be the worthy one to be in certain seats and stuff, I'm sitting in them. And we just ain't gonna just put anybody in these seats, because they have to be a right spirit in the right mindset, so we don't lead our people back into the fiery, burning buildings, and leading them back into the desert and stuff. So Empress gonna sit in these seats until the one that's supposed to sit, that are going to come once we get things together, I will be the one sitting in it.
Well, you
I'm
can know who sit where because you already know they works because every one of the ones you calling been doing the work.
Yeah.
So whatever work they've been doing, that's the function that they fulfill in the matriarchy.
Okay.
They
Well, look, they
they
need to come
obviously
on then.
well, just take your time. Ain't no rush. We already
Uh,
won.
okay. So you saying
We already won.
I can still be in my rest and I can stroll a little bit. Is that what you're saying, son?
Take your time, yeah, because you got to take care of you first. Because if you don't take care of you, you won't be able to help us. We need
Okay.
your aid and assistance because it was by your blood that unlocked the chamber of the Grail wealth. All of the Grail kings is actually the Grail queens. It's the wealth of the earth that the mothers own, and you had to have the right heirs come together in order to unlock all of it. And that's what you're doing. You calling the other heirs from around the world. Come on, let's just celebrate. And as you meet more, the more you meet, y'all power as clan mothers increase. Y'all have the same agenda. It's only one agenda, the great law, enforcing the great law. That's the great law of peace, right? And by y'all exercising y'all birthright, because y'all have the blood right, because y'all the one who shared the menses. And the menses is the small data bytes of information, the memes that tell us the information. It's in the blood. The code that unlocked the wealth, once I declared that their contracts was null and void, they have to give you because they already know who you is. They've been watching you since birth, just like they've been watching the rest of us. So we all came up learning different skill sets to make us functional in keeping the matriarchal stable as it assembles. Chief Warhorse is a war chief, but she's practicing the war peace, right? Sister Bayana Bayello from the goddess Glow Up, she's a healer that helps the sisters heal from the traumas of the generational curses we endured, right? Mm-hmm. Sister Louise Taish, she do the community work, and she's an excellent teacher of the culture of the Vadun that helps get rid of a lot of misconceptions about the power of the goddess energy. She already doing the work. So she will continue what she doing as much as she want to and send her apprentices out when she get tired. All of these elders that have been doing the work for years, they got a right to retire once a functional system is established. The system becomes functional once the clan mothers cross the land, just cordially meet. Y'all solidifying y'all power and y'all jurisdictional authority to enforce the great law. In the continuity of government facilities, they putting together packages that will make y'all tasks simpler and easier Everybody's responsible to tell y'all what part of the program they was working on. They have to bring that to y'all, but first y'all got to get organized as clan mothers that we are here, present and accounted for, ready to receive our inheritance so that we can properly administer the resources to our people.
Well, that's the reason why the committee was formed. It is
Mhm.
now up and running and ready to perform what task needs to be performed. They're ready as they are here. That's why I asked them to come on tonight to introduce them. We've set up the email address, and we've set up a 188 number. So the number again to reach the Clan Mothers Committee is 1-888-487-5559 extension 5. Again, 1-888-487-5559 extension 5. And the email address is clan mothers with an S, right? Committee at Proton Mail .me. Go ahead, Copper Armor. You
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
share your screen? Let me
Go ahead.
let Eagle Firewater share her screen again so that it would not be any problems with folks reaching out. So please do not call the Empress. The committee now has that task. Now that it's in place, now the clan mothers have somewhere to now go and to reach out to the clan mother committee. And it's on the screen now. And those who are not looking at the screen on TikTok, the email address is clan mother committee, no S. Okay, that's ClanMotherCommittee at proton.me. Clan Mother Committee at proton.me. And the actual phone number again is 1-888-487-5559 extension 5. I know because I set it up myself for the committee to use. And so now we've got an encrypted email address so that it can stay encrypted when you email us, that it won't be usurped by Google or anybody else that's looking at our emails. Okay?
So this served to create a central database of the clan mothers across the
yes,
land.
yep, yep,
It's beautiful.
yep. So that's why I said the book where we got all the clan mothers' names and phone numbers and stuff, they will be entered into that database now that we've got the committee and the secretary. Copper Alma, I was thinking that since we have Erica is the secretary, that I will get with her. So she has to be the one to keep the books and stuff. Now we all can, me, you, and her, and whoever can get together to enter all these names and phone numbers and stuff into the database to include them on the list already established as clan mothers. And the recording, when we first did our public announcement, those ladies who came in, I think we had over 300 and something women to do the declaration. I would trust that eventually those women that was on that on that call to do the declaration, that we can be able to capture those ladies, maybe in that they will come to a gathering somewhere, or at least reach out to you all by email so that we can put them into the database. So the ladies who did the declaration by form of the YouTube, if you would reach out to the committee so that you can actually be added, your name and your email and phone number can be added to this committee. So when information goes out, you'll be on that email list to get the information, find out, when we meeting together, because we're not going to be always meeting via Zoom and YouTube, okay? We need to touch each other. We need to feel each other's energy. So we will be moving from Zoom to a secured location so that we can all be together. We can heal, have fun, because how we was handled in Philadelphia was a clue for us to make sure we have our own place to do whatever needs to be done, because folks are always trying to handle us. Know what I'm saying? Trying to micromanage us, tell us put us out the restaurant. No, we can't. We got too many people, and how many people are they? And we don't know. We don't want anybody. We want to circulate our own energies and our own commerce among each other. Because whether y'all believe it or not, the only reason why commerce go on is because of the melanated people, the women. And the only reason why they commerce is going on because they got us using what they set up. And we're not benefiting from our own exchange of energy. So that's changed. Because I didn't like the way we was handled in Philadelphia. It took us a minute to find a place in Tallahassee, and a lot of stuff obstacles were put in our way at every turn, particularly in the beginning in Tallahassee. Then nobody want to, rent us nothing, and they want to know what is it that we doing, and how's we, what. Even down to the coordination, the lady said she read some comment and felt like we needed to call the sheriff, to have the sheriff to come out and do our security and all of that. We had to jump through hoops to let that lady know it ain't that kind of party, lady. I don't know what you read about us, but it ain't nothing what you think. And then when she met us and realized that we're not what she was reading, in regards to not that we were a bad group, that it was that we needed protection. Then we got all the protection we need. We got our ancestors. And everything went off without a hitch. So I told her to come and bring your children and sit on the front row and see how safe it is. Right?
So anybody that think they're gonna be handling any other tribal mothers, they're gonna have these tribal sons to deal with it, and we're not gonna take it lightly. I have to say this in advance. Just because mama lead with love don't mean her son's gonna lead the same way if you violate her principles. That's for any tribe on the land that's from the matriarchal order that got these sons around them. Y'all not finna be doing nothing to the tribal mothers. It's just not finna happen, because you're gonna be met with 10 times the foolishness that you came with. This is a new day and a new era. It will not be tolerated. A lot of these religious groups and whatnot, they got their traditions within their groups, but we ain't dealing with patriarchs now. This is the day that the mothers reclaim the land back as a collective. Y'all got the right to do that, and there's nobody in the known universe that can usurp that. You can only surrender it. And ain't none of them surrendered to this day, or else we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
We have followed the process. We have overcome all of the obstacles and took all of the required steps in the public domain according to the oral tradition of the people to carry out their tribal rights across the land for the matriarchs, the tribal mothers who have final say in all matters of law to govern the people. And the tribal mothers now are coming together at the call of Empress Rarebird in order to establish their connection as tribal mothers that have been doing the work already in keeping their clans together, keeping their families together. They now will be able to access their family's inheritance, which is their rights to the land and the rights to the wealth that was stolen from the land and to be returned to you in full. You can't get interest because they gonna have nothing after they give you what's yours. Reparations is a distraction for the tribal mothers to disassociate her for pennies on what they owe you. Don't fall for the deception. They got fiat money, which means it's not backed by anything. Big Mama's bank is backed by the mineral wealth of the land. All of the natural resources harvested from the land. They political system today call it gross domestic product, gross national product, and gross national mineral wealth. That's Big Mama Bank. They bank is fractional reserve banking, 10-to-1 debt system. That means for every dollar that you put in a bank, that they taking $10 in credit in your name to use that $1. But they not telling you that they accumulating compound interest on the $10 they took out on your $1. And it's driving inflation to make prices ridiculous where the consumer, the everyday working man, has no recourse and no remedy to fight inflation because the companies cannot pay the worker a significant wage with the inflation going up and the purchasing power diminishing at the register.
Mhm.
So under Big Mama system, if you take a man's hour labor, there's a fixed way to go that must be returned to him to compensate him for the labor of the day. The labor union's responsibility is to make sure that the worker is getting a fair piece of gold for his hourly output of labor. That's the responsibility of labor unions. If they cannot form the function, they will be dismantled and reassembled according to the orders of the matriarch if they are not standing up for the people that they claim to be representing. So now we have to get these big mamas together in order to get resources to the people who rightfully worked for something and their ancestors worked for something. And nobody told them that somebody was holding on to it. They couldn't spend it, but they was borrowing against it, betting that you abandon your rightful birthright. Well, none of the clan mothers I talked to was willing to surrender their rightful birthright if there was an opportunity to redeem the land. Not one of them was in disagreement that I talked to, and I've talked to plenty. And they all said, as soon as we have our system back in place and the clan mothers is called back together, we'll know what time it is on the land. This is that call for the clan mothers to assemble like Autobots and form one big body of mothers across the land that can manage the resources to the people according to your skill set. All clan mothers should be at this time gathering the members of a family bank's board, because as the resources is returned to the people, the big mamas have to set up the family bank in order to accommodate her resources and to properly protect her clan's resource herself without having to rely on nobody else. So family banking is a must that we learn as soon as possible. So once the matriarchy is in place, the Small Business Administration will be tasked with training people in banking so that they can help with the proper administration of the family bank. That's all. We're not asking for nothing. We just taking what's ours. We ain't taking nobody else's stuff. We just getting what was already belong to us. We just following the system that the collective clans, as they split off from the root clans, agreed that at the close of the age, all clans had to come together and form one web of matriarchs, an Anasazi, the web, the worldwide web of mothers. Each one is a Tesla coil. And as they assemble, the power grid gets bigger and bigger, and the mitochondria will begin to raise the frequency. And the people's eyes begin to open up to the fallacy that they was living and the prosperity that the future holds. This is where we're going with this. No longer will we surrender our destiny to anybody other than ourselves. And that's fair. And anywhere we go, it's fair. Even in the restricted will universe, it's still fair. Everybody got a right to claim their own destiny. And this is our tribal right to reclaim our own destiny and put our matriarchs back in charge. And none of these suckers better not act like they want to get out of line with any other clan mothers, because there's zero tolerance for these people pushing up on any of the clan mothers. We didn't have enough of it. Enough is enough. So now when y'all start moving, they're going to be getting out y'all way. If you don't, you're going to see them little hood thugs that they told us was uncontrollable, telling them you better move out of mama way before we move you. They're going to be popping up from out of nowhere. I ain't even know that little boy was there. But wherever y'all go, y'all going to be having that type of energy output that they going to naturally take their position and protect you. This the energy that the love energy y'all trying to reactivate and reignite. So whether they on the police force, whether they on the sheriff department, whether they thugs in the street, your energy gonna make them all come to your aid. When y'all start tying together, all of y'all gonna have the same influence. They call that being filled with the Holy Ghost. And the Holy Ghost is the activated mitochondrial resonance that fills the soul with the bliss of divine love. Once I was blind, but now I see. So we don't no longer allow the blind to lead the blind. We just let the leaders lead the way, and we form behind the ones that's going in the right direction. And the only direction that's the correct direction is the direction that gives us the benefit for the most amount of people. And we standing up for all other people, no matter where they at. Stop the genocide, stop the bombing the places. The mothers got to take over and tell your sons to stop being bad boys and get off that battlefield. Stop sending them kids off to go fight each other. They don't even know what they're fighting for. You got these old miserable middle-aged decrepit creeps, pedophile priest cults running the country, sending the babies to go fight in bloody wars that they don't have nothing to do with. They all fighting over adrenochrome bottles and $1 bets to start wars that won't end for 10 years, taking thousands of lives for a laugh. We done with that. We don't want to participate. We want everything to go back to the way Big Mama had it, because if you put it back the way that it's supposed to run, it's gonna run the way that it's supposed to go, and we're gonna have heaven on earth again. And mother's love gonna lead the way, because that's the light of the universe. Because the mother universe created us all, and out of the triple darkness came the love and the light to lead the way to the children out of darkness. And Empress Rare Bird is the physical incarnation and representative, diplomat of divine creator to walk amongst us at this time. I yield.
I don't know if anybody needs to say anything after that. Do y'all think you need to say anything after that? I'm humble though. Let me just say, sometimes I be pinching myself to like, out of all the millions of people on this earth, that that you know that I was chosen for such a time as this. And I'm like, if you notice, I'm just humble. I don't walk around with no ego, because I be thinking about what's the next task at hand. And but I know my heart right, and I know I'm not a sellout. And I know I don't do one thing, say one thing and do another. I don't have my own agenda. I got the agenda of the Galactic Council and what it is that I came here to do. Period. So if anybody out there feels that why it should have been me, well, you throw these shoes back on my feet if I gave them to you. I promise you would. So I wanted to share quickly with the mothers. I taught this in the 12 steps to sovereignty class, and or maybe in another setting or something. I want you to know why you are uh why you so important, and why we're so important, that you don't know about yourself. You carry a like a substance around your pineal gland, and why they're so interested in hairing up to kill up, us, particularly on this planet, because they've been siphoning this matter that's around this substance around your pineal gland called the resonance material. And what is the resonance matter? And the definition. I want you to learn something about what's going on in your divinity, because that's where your divinity is around that pineal gland and that substance that's around it that you don't know about, and what they're doing with it. And I'm going to tell you what I'm getting ready to show you. Let me stop my screen sharing for 1 minute. What I'm getting ready to show you came from the ethers to me. Nobody told me, just like one day I woke up, or one early sunrise, I woke up and they started putting these downloads, activating me about this subject matter. So it came from the nothingness into the form and manifested so that you could understand it, so that I could give it to you where you would understand it in a simple way, okay? So since we are on this call as clan mothers, I want to show you something about all of us, okay? And why your Black gold is so important. It says the resonance matter definition, what it is. Any of the numerous clear to transient yellow or brown solid or semi-solid, what is that, viscous substance of plant origin, such as corpus rosin and amber, used particularly in liquors, varnishes, inks, adhesives, plastics, and pharmaceuticals, okay? Now, I want to show you, mother, a Middle English form of matter, same as mother. Mother in certain special uses, see alma, mater, and phrases below. Number 4, in anatomy, 1 or 2 membranes are meanings. Is that the way you pronounce it? Minions. Okay. Of the brain. Listen to it. Outer and inner, separated by the aronoid and distinguished as dura, matter, or dura, and pia, matter, or pi, so called from some idea that they produce the brain. And so if you think about this in the form of mother matter, they're talking about the resin that is surrounding the pineal gland. This walk with me for a minute. So y'all understand that number 4. Everything is about mother in the form of matter. Okay? You ever go to court and they say in the matter of? Okay, I'm just reminding you the big game that they play on us. So they told me to go look up Xerox copy machine. And when I looked it up, I said, oh my goodness. It says it's a duplicator, a trademark of Xerox that copies graphic matter by the action of light on electrically charged photoconductive insulator surface in which the latent image is developed with a resinous powder. Did anybody catch that? The resinous powder, which went back to this definition of resin. Let me find that again. Give me a second. Right here. Okay? So this is what it looks like around the pineal gland. You see that? That's the resin. It's so powerful that it's important that when we transition out of this realm, that they don't rob the temple, robbing it of its essence of this resin, because they're using the resin to put in the ink and the toners from us to create their reality on paper by using that black ink on that white paper that's mixed with that resin. that creates that black ink.
That's blood magic.
There you go.
Babylonian blood magic was one of the ways that they subjugated us.
And so your value is based on what's up here in that around that pineal gland that they're draining when we go to the morgue. And we're not totally what we call deceased for several days. So you think about the pain and the agony that our loved ones who transition and what these people are doing to them while they still alive. They're not we're not actually gone for several days because the spirit had to be released from the body. And even though we have stopped breathing on this realm, that don't mean that we're gone, and we're not gone. So they hurry up and take us down to the do an autopsy or take us down so they can start draining this resin off of us and the blood so that they can be able and then so the body parts that they're taking from our ancestors as well. So I wanted to share that with you all so you could get a visual of what they're doing. Now, Omicron is like the 15th letter of what they say, the Greek alphabet, which is the zero. The zero is the Ayin Sof, the nothingness, translated as the O. And then in astronomy, it is the 15th star in the constellation. Okay, so think about Omicron and how they're using that that substance in our body called what is it, Omicron as well, Rod? Are you still there?
Yeah, which substance?
Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome, there you go. So that's the same thing, but they also marking us in the spirit world where we came from the nothingness, the Ayin Sof, which is at the top of the tree of life, which is you. You are the tree of life right here. The zero, the negative veil, the Ayin Sof, the zero. That's the same as what they're talking about right here, or what I just read, the O. Now I want to go somewhere, go back a minute to Corona and how they got everybody talking about the coronavirus and all of that. Well, let's look and see what the definition of corona is and why they had to stop using it and turn it and use the word COVID, because they told them they couldn't use that word because this word means something different than what they put the word with, which was a virus. So it's a part of the body resembling or likened to a crown. The rare gaseous envelope of the sun and other stars. The sun's corona is normally visible only during a total solar eclipse, when it is seen as an irregular shaped pearly globe surrounding the darkened disk of the moon. And that's what we experienced when we had the eclipse. Now you know what corona is, so that now you don't have to allow the outside influences that I think that's all I'm gonna share right now, so that you guys can get a visual of why they're using certain words. You better be looking at why they're using them, and how they're using the words to put fear in people, when those words are really something that's happening within ourselves and that happening within astrology. Okay. But the main thing you need to know is that substance that is part of your divinity. They want it. They can't have it, because we're taking back our power, and you're not going to keep using our substance from our ancestors to create our hell by using that magic. So now that you know what Xerox and all these ink companies have been up to, we got to do something about that when it's time. Just so you know that they don't need nothing but a little bit or a speck of that to create havoc upon us. So you think about a lot of our ancestors that have passed here, that they've been robbing the temple of our ancestors.
Empress.
I yield.
So that's part of Babylonian blood magic. All of the bodily fluids are extensions of blood magic. They use for different conjures, they use your saliva, they can use the tears in your eyes. That's why they be making them babies crying with the panda eyes. They be collecting their tears. And then they collect the adrenochrome from them. This is all part of the Babylonian blood rituals to keep us in a stupor from the residual pheromones of child slaughter in the air that makes the mothers go through an apathy, that keep them from stepping into their power, because it's telling them that all of these babies are dead and they can sense the energy from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the mothers start to get restless because they want the problem fixed. They don't see with their eyes that child getting slaughtered on the other side of the world. But she feel the mother's pain when she feel the separation of the energy of a living child that transitions under those harsh conditions of torture. Every mother feel every mother's pain when she see those children in pictures and images. Every mother feel a mother's pain, and it's contagious. As they begin to feel it, it causes the mothers to go like start walking in a circle. That's because they're trying to regroup from that negative frequency. This was the purpose of the blood magic and writing writing the Constitution in Crispus Attucus' blood as the first chief to die in the American Revolution. They using the principles of the blood magic. The bodily fluids can all be used for one form of magic, whether it's your urine, your bodily waste, your fecal matter. They can use it all for different conjure spells. But the fact that you expose it to the public makes it reduce in its potency upon the people, because now they being told what's being used as the mechanism to hold them. Their spiritual guardians know how to protect them. But when they didn't know how to call the ancestral support team to protect them. And they told us that turning to our ancestors for support was some evil stuff from the devil, and all the time it was some righteous stuff from Big Mama house. It was them brews and herbs that healed the cold in one day, where now you got to take Robitussin, it might still take a week to heal. It was the touch of the mothers on the cheek of the child that tell him that it's going to be all right. You just scraped your knee, baby. It's missing, and we want it back. We want to see our children and our grandchildren grow up with the tender hands that grandma rocked us with. We can't do that if we let these people just do what they want to do when we have a right to reclaim what's ours by blood and by right and override their conjure magic with righteousness because we right. And whether they take in the cerebral spinal fluid, whether they take the sacred secretion when it rises from the base of the spine, the Christ fluid, all of that stuff is part of those conjures that kept us subjugated. So we here to bring an end to it once and for all. All of the dirty players gonna get treated like dirty players. They're gonna get what they rightfully deserve by the works they perform. Just like the righteous is gonna be getting a righteous reward for the works that they done. It's not personal, it's just balancing out with nature.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're gonna follow the great law, the first rule of the great law is maintain balance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's where all of the mechanics of government being reclaimed by the matriarchy, make the systems run right, get the resources to the people. Everybody is entitled to food, clothing, and shelter, and the local big mama's gonna make sure it happens. Because she don't want none of her babies sleeping out in the rain. When he could go over Big Mama house and get a cot and a hot. And he can leave in the morning if he want to. He ain't nobody hostage. But he got somewhere to rest his head for the night. Big Mama makes sure that all of us got somewhere to rest. Ain't no such thing as homeless under the matriarchy. If you homeless under the matriarchy, it's because you chose not to have a home. It's not because it wasn't one made available to you. But under this patriarchy, they don't care if you're sleeping on the curb,
They
if you're
don't.
sleeping behind the liquor store, they don't care if you're sleeping in the cardboard box. It has to go.
And the agenda is very different than the matriarch. They have no feelings and no healings, none whatsoever. You see these beautiful buildings that they build, and then they turn around and knock them down when you got all these homeless people, all this waste that the patriarch have done to the lack of care for the people and its needs, have squandered away a lot of the resources, never benefited but the few that he wanted to benefit in his own little circle, and created a mafia to keep us away from it. But those days are over. Uh, as you know, what happened to Helena last week. We're working on that in both the spiritual and the physical aspect of the subject matter. The same police officers that put their hands on me, put their hands on her. I haven't had any problems with no police officers nowhere else but here where I currently reside. And it's trying to make me be something I'm not to them.
Well, for the record, all police stations is gonna have to close anyway, because all police are appointed positions. They're not elected by the people. The sheriffs is gonna be different because they're elected by the local people to administer their law enforcement
Are the
responsibilities
sheriffs
in the area.
are the sheriffs recognizing that they're working for the wrong people, that the corporation, the bar, has taken over everything that has to do with the people's government?
Yeah. Well, all of the sheriffs don't know, but the constitutional sheriff, they got a constitutional sheriff league for all of the sheriffs that know what's going on. They all joined up and they protested against the legal fiction administering law enforcement, usurping their jurisdictional authority. The sheriffs is the only law enforcement elected by the people. That's the only reason why they're not going to be dismantled with the police force. Then the National Guard is going to come in, and they are the ones that's going to relieve the local police stations. And don't be surprised if all of the brass of each one of the police stations get rushed to Gitmo. They
Ooh,
all operate under a charter from a foreign jurisdiction, administering the responsibilities of a police state. The sheriffs don't operate like that. You got to have an election in order to place a sheriff. That means the people pick the people that's governing their law enforcement responsibilities. That's the only reason why they're going to be there, but they're going to be having to work with the National Guard. All of those sheriffs that made that alliance is already aware, because they are being kept up to speed of the transitional power of government by the Raven Rock team. They got a team that's responsible to keep the sheriffs up to date on how are we progressing. Right? They got a team that's keeping the State Department. They know how to systematically shut this process down. And so as you doing what you're doing to solidify power, you hastening them closing the Federal Reserve, you hastening them systematically shutting down the corporate fiction that's been masquerading as our government. But they can't leave openly until the clan mothers finally get to critical mass of acknowledgement of one another, in order to switch systems, to automatically switch by the energy. And as y'all begin to meet each other, y'all gonna feel different. Y'all gonna feel more empowered. Y'all gonna feel more in control of your own personal life, which is gonna give you more energy to do your service to the community, just in the name of love alone.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to just reiterate about the police that's occupying our land. Once they gave me the charters, they gave me also this book to let me know who the police jurisdiction is and who they're working under. So I'm gonna quickly show you.
So while you getting to that, military intelligence was all over this right here.
So you
They
go ahead.
researched the document from cover to cover to make sure that everything was accurate.
Mm-hmm. And this is confirming, I was supposed the reason why they gave me this manual when they gave me the charters and the trust. And I was kind of wondering why they gave it to me. And then when I looked in it, then I realized what was going on with the police departments. And so as you can see, this is the address in which the police department's authority is under the West Yorkshire Police Authority in the UK. Okay. And it tells you everything that you need to know about the police department, where this is proof where they're under the UK. So that's what makes them foreign.
Exercising the foreign jurisdiction over the people that belong on the land. That's illegal.
And as you can see, that they published this in the United States of America by Oxford University by way of the British Library catalog. So it's right there in our face. So I wanted to show you prove to you that these police officers that have set up these police states that have been over here unjustly putting their hands on people, putting them in jail, they never had the authority, they never even had the right to carry guns and put blue lights on their cars. And here you see it. And they're under the Police National Legal Database. And that's the website. And it's directing us right here. Gives you some information in regards to them and what they do and how they operate as police. So I want to go back and show you. I'm gonna scroll down. And they're doing all the stuff that they're saying they're doing, they're operating as, prosecuting people for human trafficking. I'm gonna get to that. There we go. So here's all the codes in which they're supposed to be quote unquote operating under. And this book holds everything that it has to hold as public safety officers. That's what they were supposed to be. Well, not them, but that's what's supposed to be. If anything, I think it was just created. We didn't need that because we had the sheriff and we had the chiefs of the land. And the clan mothers was the one that made law in regards to the tribal nations and how things are run. And everything is ran by the law of nations, which I will show you shortly, so that you can get a feel. And it's supposed to be the law for nations, it's not of. So they also took everything and renamed it, like the Constitution of. It's supposed to be the Constitution for. So that's a big difference, of and for. Of is something similar, smells like something, but it's not. It's under the color of law. It's not real. It's not the real deal. But for is absolute. So here we go. They got a section in there called the assault, resist, impersonating, and obstruct. Police are designated accredited person or emergency workers. Yeah, they impersonating. So we are right to arrest them. But because they got the guns and the dogs and got access to the county jails, which they're not supposed to have, they're putting the people in the jails that's supposed to be putting them in jail, in that jail. Right?
That's absolutely right, Empress. We supposed to be arresting them as foreign agents because none of them is registered under the Foreign Agents Act. But as you see with this document, they are all chartered under a foreign jurisdiction of origin.
Mm-hmm.
Constitutionally, they're not supposed to be operating on the land. And it's funny because the first police, they was called Copper Tops, was stationed in New York. That's New Yorkshire. Right? So they was already put over here by the Crown of England. And then we got tricked into paying for them, believing that they was working for us under the legal fiction. They was all the time the occupying forces of England that's been patrolling the territories and keeping our land in a police state.
Mm-hmm. Which is
We
under
didn't.
war. They actually uh, in, committing war against us, war crime.
That's why they issue warrants when they want to arrest us, because that's a declaration of war against one person.
But
It's a
warrants is not what people think it is in what we call in banking. That
right,
the
and banking is different, but for the police occupying the land, it's a two-part word that's been merged together as a compound word to make us be deceived about what it's saying. It's a
Mhm.
war rant.
Yeah.
Because the Crown of England, remember in 1776, the colonists wasn't fighting the people in the land, they was fighting the people from England,
Right.
right? And they told us that the Americans won the war. All the time they usurped America with the second constitution, right? And then they renamed everything to make it look like it was us doing business as ourselves, and it was them mimicking us to do business in our place.
And the Europeans, by the way, they were melanated people. That's
Mm-hmm.
how they were able to come in and fit in, because they were mimicking us as though it was us, but it was the Europeans that came in that looked like us that did most of the damage that has been done.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see right here, even in their own book, they got false imprisonment and kidnapping.
And child abduction.
That's correct. So this is a great book to order for anybody who wants to look in this book and see how this manual is really uh, uh, towards us to do these duties that they're doing to us.
It's the
They're the ones
handbook for them
breaking
to
it.
control us.
Yeah.
Yep, this is the instructions on how to control the people in the occupied territory.
And look at this. They even got the cannabis and magic mushroom in there too. Hey, y'all need to get this book and see what's all in here, okay? So let me see. I want to go back so you guys can see the actual book itself.
The
The
cover.
front cover. Yeah. Order this book and look at it. Okay? They got a lot of other Blackstone's books that you may be interested in, so that you can familiarize yourself with these foreign agents over here in their manual. This is just
So
one of many handbooks.
now, just like the police was operating with a charter from a foreign corporation or government,
Mhm,
also the barristers was chartered in Savannah, Georgia in 1863-64 by King George III,
mhm,
which opened the room for English barristers to masquerade as purveyors of law on the land among the people, because they have to figure out a way to capitalize on how they criminalize us once they create crime.
mhm,
They had to
mhm,
create crime because the people of the land didn't have any when they came.
mhm, mhm,
They talk about it in the early journals of the early settlers of how organized and peaceful we was. That's what made them think we was pushovers. Now
mhm.
remember, the appearance of legitimacy is the obligation under Uniform Commercial Code. The Uniform Commercial Code is to make things appear to be legitimate, and the Uniform Commercial Code is the code used to administer international law among nations.
Mhm.
Nations are the corporations that's owned by the royal families of each one of the lands in 12 regions, which makes up the 12 daughters of Isis. This is where they get the Federal Reserve 12 banks plus one. the +1 was the DC bank, that they only use a star to represent it.
Okay,
To
so
capture.
can I add something to that quickly,
Mhm.
please? What also what you people that fail to not know is that the 13th bank that's hidden, if you go and look at the 12 bank Federal Reserve banks, there's one left out. And that's the one in Charlotte for a reason. Guess what that reason is?
That's Big Mama Bank.
You damn right.
Okay, so the jurisdiction is captured because they moved the bank seat under the 13th Federal Reserve seat in DC.
Yep.
Because
Which is
this
in
is
Washington, disguised as the United States Treasury.
right. Now, if you look at how they have the 12 banks set up across the land, and they are used to represent the 13th bank, they use a 5-pointed star, the
Yes,
Eastern Star.
I'm gonna pull it up.
This is because that star represent who stole Big Mama Bank. They use sigil magic in the design of the floor plans of Washington, D.C. in order to capture the banking rights using Babylonian money magic. By telling us that the Big Mama Bank is being captured in D.C., we had to do a particular thing. The tribes had to stake a totem pole in DC. It was done in 2017 for those who want to know. I got all of the receipts for us to step by step reclaim the land and the different tribes performing their function on their part. Sipico was a tribal mother in Canada that put the Pope on public notice, told them that we would no longer honor any law that's not the great law, and that all of the chiefs have been selected across the land and to govern itself accordingly. His response to her was to rescind the discovery doctrine when he got back to Rome. The rescission of the discovery doctrine means this: it is the foundational doctrine of the discovery of foreign lands from the Edict of the Pope that validated all of the treaties that was done in fraud and deception upon the natives of the various lands the Catholic Church pushed the Christian doctrine to. And so now he have to rescind it, and it brings all of those treaties to bear upon the fruit of the poison tree doctrine, which means it all goes away as soon as the matriarchs reclaim the land. So you were showing the map of the banks, Empress.
Okay, so give me a second here. Show you a few more other things, and then we're going to close. We will open up for any questions tonight. So I want to go back to the Federal Reserve, as he was saying, and then I want to show you and how they did it. Okay, so let me share my screen so y'all can understand why the Federal Reserve Board of Governors are being asked to step down. Jerome Powell been asked to step down. The FDIC have been asked to step down. So that is the collapse of that system. As the quantum financial system come into Big Mama's Bank and being able to now have the banking system and the central banking system to be able to now come back online so that we can be able to do true banking, as it was said in the treaty, the Galactic Treaty, if you guys remember, and I'll put a treaty up shortly about the bank. It said human energy, which have been mishandled and exploited because you are the bank. Okay, so let me share my screen. So we got the Federal Reserve banks. As you can see, what that story is, as Rod was saying, is sitting in Washington, D.C. Okay, and it's disguised. And if you look at Bank 5, it's on the line of Virginia and North Carolina. Okay. Now, why is that number 5 sitting there on that line? And do you see Charlotte anywhere on this list? Because it's merged in and hidden and under number 5, where these people are controlling the 13th bank, or whether it was so just know that the 13th is hid for a reason. Now, being that you don't see Charlotte on there, and you seeing number 5, and then you seeing Washington, D.C. ran by the Board of Governors, right? And that's why all these people are being asked to step down, because number 13 getting ready to come online. And that's a bad luck number for their ass, but it's good for us.
That's the Queen Mother seal from the orders from the Queen Mother, the mother of the king.
Now,
solidify power, Big Mamas, so we can finish taking it over.
okay. So now you see Baltimore, Charlotte, and Richmond, Virginia is all under Big Mama. Okay. And so that's why you see the map the way it is, because they're not revealing that bank belongs to me. And when time come, I'm gonna take that seat. But just understand that there was a 13th hidden for such a time as this. I know you can't see it, Yolanda, because you have to go on to the YouTube channel to see it, because I'm not sure how to do TikTok and sharing my screen on TikTok because I'm on my computer. So if you would just go, for those who want to see it, sweetie, go over there on my channel. I'm live, and so you can actually see my screen. Okay. What's my YouTube channel? Tell her what the YouTube channel is in the chat box, someone. Okay. It is Empress Rarebird. You'll see me in the blue. Okay. So go over there on the YouTube channel and you can see my screen. You're welcome, Kendra. But for the rest of you, if you know how to just Google that while I'm talking, or you can go back after after everything, this will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. So you can go over on my YouTube channel and look at everything afterwards, okay? All right. So now you see the trueness of what is going on, where Charlotte is where the banking hub is, the banking capital of the world, Queen Charlotte. So I would imagine that that's my bloodline because I'm Empress.
That's who was usurping your bloodline.
Okay.
Remember, they couldn't own your property. All they can do was stop you from getting to it using all the means of deception.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they rename stuff, it make it look like it belonged to them, but behind the scenes, they still got to store your wealth. It got
Okay.
to be there when you claim it back.
Okay. So it's claimed back. So it's crumbling. So yeah, because they were from England or wherever, London. And so that's why I was telling you they were the usurpers of
Mm-hmm.
of everything. So you see that Baltimore and Richmond is right here, number 5. This right here. That's why they originally gave, let me go here. They amended the allodial title on February the 20th of this year. And the amendment says, all lands captured by treaties following May 1st, 1540, to restore all tribes of Turtle Island to their original land holdings prior to 1492 when Christopher Columbus arrived. So the amended part of this allodial title now includes all of Turtle Island. That
That's
was
the
done
collect,
this year.
and that's the collective matriarchy taking the foundational document. Then all of their mortgage deeds and tax property liens have been revoked by tribal right, and the only people that can determine the tax on the land going forward would be the collective matriarchs. But we
That's
don't tax the land.
That's correct. And so all the sovereign nation state certificates, all the special deed of trust, and the allodial title has been amended to include Turtle Island, means North and South America, as well as Canada, because Canada is part of North America. Or they switched the maps. I'm just, for lack of knowledge, for some people they wouldn't know that until they understand that they switched the maps, and the maps are
Upside down.
upside down. So it means that the east is where north is. Okay, east is where north is.
No, east and west
West
is flipped.
is down where south is. And then north is to your left and south is to your right. So until y'all can get the concept of the direction in which we are, that the maps are turned upside down, I just have to say it that way so you'll understand that Canada and all the islands, like Jamaica and Caribbean and all of that, belong to Turtle Island. All of it is Turtle Island. Before they renamed it, separated, and did all the corporate stuff that they did to the land. So Turtle Island means that I now hold their allodial title for all of it. But before the amendment, as you can see on here, it talks about North Carolina, Virginia, and Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So now you see why right here, this map is the way it is, because they originally wanted me to capture the banking system and pointing at them. What I'm showing you right now is Virginia. It's the same as Washington, D.C., and Maryland is the same as Washington, D.C., and all of it is Indian Territory land that belonged to the original people of Cherokee. So apparently Cherokee was what they would call the capital of all the nations, but each nation had their own autonomy, and they met in what we known as Philadelphia, in the seat that I went and took. So now y'all understand why we had to go to Philadelphia, is because that's where we originally met to conduct tribal business, tribal nation business.
Can I clarify something, Empress?
Yes, you can.
So the settlers, when they had to use their paperwork to establish a company to do business with, they started using us in business terms, referencing us as Cherokee. But that's not the original names of the people. That's the contract that the settlers made up. And the name Cherokee represents a whole collective of nations under that banner in the paperwork of the settlers that came. So when they surrender it back, they have to surrender it back under the name they stole it, which was Cherokee. And that's why you had to put Shalagi in front of it to identify you referencing the original people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
And some of us are Anahuaya because we remember the name of the root tribe of the Cherokee nations, which was the ones who brought them all together. This is how the settlers labeled us. It's an exonym term. We didn't name ourselves Cherokee, but in order for the purposes of foreign business, the foreigners created that term to include many nations. So that's why you have so many different people, including $5 Dawes Rose Indian, classified as Cherokee. Right? That had to be made clear so they know that we using the name Cherokee because we taken back the paperwork that they use as foundational documents of the oppressive regime on the land.
Mm-hmm. Now, most of you have never heard of the law of nations, which they took that of, and it should have been for. So we can correct, that. But for tonight, I need you to understand that the clan mothers, we have not only certain documents that we had for our structure, and that don't mean that we got to go back to the old. What it means is that was the foundation for us to build on. Okay, but if you will take the time and look at the law of nations, or the principles of the law of nature, it's all there for us to look at and to have some form of direction as to how a nation is supposed to run. It's all here. And I want to go down to show you the actual content of the book so that you can see this is a candy store. You don't have to reinvent, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, it's already here. Okay?
That's a matriarchal rule, by the way. Use what worked, and what didn't work, we throw it away.
Right. And so this, I wanted to show you right here where the number one of the state and of sovereignty. And I have the sovereign state certificate. I'm the only one that holds one right now on this planet. That's the deed, special deed. Trying to find the sovereign state certificate. It may be in another email. I'll pull that up in a minute. But let me go back here. So I want to give you all some clarity as to the direction in which we're going. It's already done. Like my son Rod has said. But it talks about right here in chapter 2, the general principles of the duties of a nation towards herself. It didn't say himself. It said herself. And then it goes down here and talks about number 13, a nation ought to act agreeably to her nature. The end of civil society. Go back one, preservation of perfection of a nation. A nation is under an obligation to preserve herself, blank, and to preserve her members. A nation has a right to everything necessary for her preservation. She ought to avoid everything that might occasion her destruction. Her right to everything that may promote this end. A nation ought to perfect herself in her condition, blank, and to avoid everything contrary to her perfection. The right she derives from these obligations. Examples. A nation ought to know herself. Now, did you hear anything about a patriarch anywhere? Did y'all hear me say anything about him? Because he hadn't did a good job.
That was all her.
All her.
That was all her.
And
Which
that's
goes,
why they wanted to avoid the word nation, because nation is feminine.
they used it to enslave us instead of to liberate us like they were supposed to. This is why the mothers got to take it back.
Let's go on down. Of public authority. Let me go back. Of the Constitution of a state and the duties and rights of a nation in that respect. And if you go down to let's go down to number 31. Rights of a nation with respect to her constitution and government. Now, I'm going to tell you, we read in the treaty that we didn't want any more constitution because they were contracts made to bind people, right? And so, and someone told me, I said, you got to have a constitution, Empress. I said, okay, if I got to have a constitution, I'm going to have one thing in the Constitution. That is the right to love and to operate in love and be loved. That's the Constitution. How about that one? Ain't no whole bunch of you don't have to figure it out. I'm just gonna write a few lines. I already got it. I just got to put put it on paper. But that's gonna be if we got to have a constitution, that's gonna be the Constitution. How about that one? Let me see some thumbs up on TikTok. That's the Constitution. To love, to be loved, and to love. That's what I thought. Now, she may perform the government. It may alter the Constitution. That's what I just did. And what else? She is the judge of all disputes relative to the government. Didn't say over the people, the government. Supposed to leave the people alone. I only work in the best interest of the people as it relates to the government. They're not going to do certain things because I'm not going to let them do certain things because they're not going to do what the corporations did to the people. Okay? Now, number 4 in this chapter, now it talk about he. He said of the sovereign. He is solely established for the safety and advantage of society. That's what the masculine role is. His representative character. He is entrusted with the obligations of the nation and invested with her rights. So you have a role, men, folks. Get in your lane. That's all that is required for you to just get in your lane. Stay out my seat. Stop trying to tell me what to do and how to do a thing. Get in your seat and do your work. And it also says his duty in respect to preservation and perfection of the nation and his rights in that respect. That's where his rights are. Right?
I wanted to give them an example of what you was just reading.
Okay, let me move back to it then.
Do you see where it say that he entrusted with the obligations of the nation invested in with her rights?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I come and tell you that as the clan mother, you had the right to call all the clan mothers together?
Yep.
I didn't try to keep it a secret from you, did I?
Nope.
So this is what's called operating in the sovereign capacity as a tribal leader of the men.
He's doing
Right.
his work. He's doing it right. He
Okay,
ain't
then it
trying to
say
tell me what to do.
his duty with respect to the preservation and perfection of the nation. And all I say is, if you want it to run the way it was supposed to run, put the power where it's supposed to go, and the machine will run like it's supposed to and bring heaven to earth. Ain't that what I said?
Yep.
So serving in my sovereign capacity, giving wise counsel to the empress, brings us to this point to call all the matriarchs in the call to unify and solidify the mother's power to exercise these same rights that the sovereign, his obligation and his rights to do. So I'm performing the function of government on behalf of the matriarchy so we can make this go the way it's supposed to. So I advise the empress on the steps necessary to restore the matriarchal structure with the aid and assistance of the rest of the matriarchs on the land. We can't exclude any of them because of difference of ideology.
Mm-hmm.
If they've been doing the work in the community, they have to have accesses to the resources to continue the work and enhance the work. Without
Go ahead.
the obstruction of government blocking their ability to heal the people and the land, the water and the air, which is their sovereign right to do as the matriarchs of the land. So this is what this whole discussion today is rooted in.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So I wanted to reiterate that it's principles before personality. I don't care about your about nothing other than the work that's supposed to be done. So I work on the work is totally on principles, not on whether I like you or whether you from what stock and how you look and what kind of clothes you wear. None of that doesn't matter. I have to work on principles. The work has to be done just like that. So don't come at me with the attitude that I came from this stock and I'm whatever. Principles before personalities. Okay. Now I want to go back just one step on number 37. It says no foreign power has a right to interfere. All this trump all the state and federal stuff that they put up to block us from operating as a nation. Okay. Now I want to go down now that I showed you about him. It also talks about he ought to know the nation, extent of his power, prerogative of majesty. The prince is bound to respect and support the fundamental law. He may change the laws not fundamental. He is bound to maintain and observe the existing laws. In what sense he is subject to the laws? His person is sacred and inviolable. By the nation may repress a tyrant and renounce his allegiance to him. Renounce her allegiance to him. Means that you are tyrant, I will denounce you. I have the right to do so.
And that brings a whole lot of law enforcement of the people into play that we don't really want people to put themselves in that position.
Right. Arbitration between the king and his subjects. Obedience with subjects owed to a sovereign, and what cases they may resist him. And it talks about ministers. Okay. It talks about hereditary and all in this book. So I'm just going to just stroll to the table of contents and show you that way when y'all, go back on the chat, look at the record and you can see what's you can freeze it and see what's all in this book. Everything that we need to know about how to run a nation is right here. And this is the book that I'm going by. Because everything is here. Look at it. Talk about money, exchange, good government, and true happiness of a nation. Love of virtue, and the abhorrence of vice to be excited. Like I said, when you guys get a chance, you can just freeze the screen and look. Okay? But this is the book that we're going by, that I'm going by as the Empress, because it has everything we need to run a nation.
So you're using the book in an advisory capacity to help you
That's
perform
correct.
your function most effectively.
That is correct.
That's so people know that the book ain't telling you what to do. It's just showing you the structure and helping you do it more effectively.
Yep. And you can perfect the will. It's got everything in here. And it's nothing like the states have been doing, that's for sure. And
And what's the name?
they're still talking about the sea as she. Go ahead, Rod.
What's the name of this book again?
The Law of Nations, which is in alignment with natural law. It shows you that the woman, the matriarch, runs the nation.
And this what was usurped with the admiralty jurisdiction, because if they go by the law of the land, they have to follow this.
Yep.
So on the law of the seas, a nation is a holding of the captain of the ship. A lot of people don't know that Trump had the Navy run the ship when he was the president out of the bay over there by DC, because that was the ship that was responsible to hold the crash site and to carry the bachelor birth certificates back to England. They only can be gone for 2 weeks out the year. So they go drop the batch rolls off to England as the currency that they was using us for, to pay duty to the crown through the central banking system. And the International Monetary Fund and World Bank was the ones who was cashing in the birth certificates for the royal family, and they was using it to buy up all kind of extravagant things.
So, trying to get to the end so that y'all know what's in the book. Like I said, you can freeze the screen to look, but I'm just going through the table of contents. It even tells you about the hospitals, the obligation to the military laws, military discipline, how the promises bind the sovereign. All of it is here. So if I want to know anything, I can use this as a reference, like Rod said, to get things done. And I love this book. It's nothing in here that's not in here.
That's got a lot of information in it.
Yes, it do. It's 567 pages.
I'm gonna love reading that bad boy.
And it's like 567. Then my
Just,
numbers. It's 567 pages,
just like your birthday.
just like my birthday. Okay. I'm moving quickly. Like I said, you guys can freeze the screen. To give you an idea. It's a beautiful book. Okay. So while I'm scrolling, I'm going to open up the floor for any questions while I scroll. So just unmute yourself and ask the question, because I don't have my screen up to see your hands. All right. So now we finished. Now we got the definitions. So y'all know definitions are also in the book. All right. Anybody got any questions? I know this was kind of long, but it was necessary for you all to understand where we are, not get bits and pieces and not know and how stuff is. We put some things in place now. We ready to rock and roll. Any questions?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Do you have the book cover of the one you was just showing us, the law
Sure.
of nations.
Yes, ma'am. Let me go back to that. That was a long trip. Let me do it like this. There we go. That's where they got the LIBOR codes from. I know you guys have heard about the LIBOR codes. Well, this is really what they were talking about. Francis LIBOR. Okay, there you go. This is the cover. Because the cover, it doesn't have the Law of Nations on the cover, believe it or not. I don't know why that is, but it don't have it. That's why I said they want to hide some, put in the book, and they hid this and they didn't even put it on the front cover of the book. As you can see, let me go back and show you. It's blank. So you have to open the book up to page 4 to see what the book is. How convenient. So it's called the Law of Nations. And then it says, or the principles of the law of nature.
Can you blow that up some, Empress?
I can.
That'll help them see it better so they can write down the
Sure.
information.
Yep. There you go. And it's saying that this applied to the conduct and affairs of the nations and sovereigns.
You see, now this is under natural law. Under admiralty law, nations are vessels at sea, and sovereigns are the captains of ships. That's the difference. It's patriarchal versus matriarchal. In the
Yep.
matriarchal system, nations comes from the root word natal, right? That's why. Yeah,
Go ahead.
That's why they had the doc, certifying the birth of the ship, right? And that's why they use the mother as the informant, so she'll know what ship is about to breach when her water break and come down the canal so that they can tax it. The ship, the national, that they captured in the salvage rights of the corporation to administer the birth process of the ship at dock. So they was using that to usurp us by changing the meaning of the names in relation to the function of law on land versus the function of law of the seas. That was the trick the whole time to keep mama out of power. I yield.
Someone asked what was the role of man. If you could go back once the video is uploaded, because I don't want to go back into finding that for you, but it's in the book. And it'll be on the screen. So please go back and look at the video, and I read it, so you'll be able to find it, okay? The name of the book is I go back to it. It's called The Law of Nations. somebody could put it in a chat in TikTok, that would be great. It's called The Law of Nations. And then up under it, it also has or principles of the law of nature. So if you put it in a chat in TikTok so that you'll know. And then if you guys could put it in the chat and on the YouTube or Zoom, so that it can be posted in there, but you'll be able to see it if you go back to the recording. But it's called The Law of Nations. And then it says, or principles of the law of nature. Mm-hmm. You got it? Okay. All right. All right. So get that. So you'll know how the emperor's supposed to do what she's supposed to be doing. See, that's been the problem too, is that, we voted for people to come in. These people were never supposed to be in our lives and personal lives and taking over, taxing our personal properties and stuff like that. Empress ain't gonna do that. Empress is gonna run the nation the way it's supposed to be ran, in a peaceful, loving environment. That's what I'm gonna do. That's why you don't see me arguing with folks. I'm walking in love. You want to argue, go somewhere else. I'm not trying to argue. I want to be peaceful and happy. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, I'll share. All right. Y'all been quiet. Now I'm gonna party just 1 minute. I'm gonna cut YouTube off because they make me sick. I talk about some damn copyright. So let me just, y'all on YouTube, I'm getting ready to play our closing music. And so this will end our session on YouTube. And I'm walking in love and light on YouTube. And so I'm going to end the YouTube. I'll see you all a little later on. But for the rest of us, we're going to kick YouTube off of here so we can play our music. So we won't get kicked off for copyright and I can't post a video. Okay?